Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. And we are talking about part 2 of eating things into our soul intentionally. And it goes beyond food. It goes beyond food. And as I have let you know, that when you're eating, genetically modified food into your soul, you're eating into your soul black matter, because this is a spell that has been sent out from these governmental narcissists, from the entity who are controlling these people in order to send negative energy to your health, to your body, to your mind, to have you overweight, to have you overeat 3 times a day. You should only be eating once a day, and maybe some fruits and vegetables if you are getting a little bit lunchy or hungry early on before that meal is prepared for you. So let's get into the other things that is haram and prohibited. And again, I like to say, the words that are easily understood on the internet, karma. People can receive karma from intentionally doing these things who they know are haram. And when we are talking about divinations, consulting spirits, consulting, those people who go to use astrology, consulting those people who are, the tarot card readers in order to get information about the future or the chosen ones, that is prohibited. Any kind of divination, using arrows, shooting arrows at animals is a type of divination. So we understand that the Holy Quran has given us this type of information, that it is haram to do these types of things. It is haram meaning prohibited. And so there are certainly different ways that you can eat things into your soul, eat things that are forbidden, that are prohibited. And so we understand that gambling and intoxicants, intoxicants meaning, alcoholic beverages, marijuana, those things, any kind of drug that will intoxicate you and inebriate your mind and your body. Okay. So we have this understanding that these types of tactics have been used in a black and brown community. They have been used against women. Inebriation, addictive, substances have been pumped into the system and have been used and carried out not only by governments, but by, medical physicians. They have been used by people in your family to, put you on medication when there's nothing wrong with you except that you're chosen or you're a female. These types of attacks have been carried out by the people, the male leadership in society. This is a male-driven society. Let me say it again. In order to have access to women who they would not normally under the law of God have access to. So we have these understandings. We want to make sure that we make this perfectly clear to you of what has been going on. And this is why you have a problem between the sexes at this point, because there is some confusion in what is right and wrong. And the holy books are very clear about, immorality, sexual immorality. It is very clear about, protecting the women from certain things. You're supposed to be the protector. God has given you these rules that you must carry out. Absolutely, and when we're talking about gambling, we're talking about the lottery, because that is also an addiction. Lust, sexual immorality that causes disease up on the land, brings disease into the home, into the community. Losing your money, through gambling, the lottery, the slot machines. Again, divination with arrows. Playing those kinds of card games. These types of, are attacks in the society. It causes confusion. It causes chaos. It breeds, distractions and hatred. There are lies that people tell to hide these types of behaviors from their spouses, from the community. And the only time that it is revealed when they have lost everything from gambling, when they have to go into treatment centers in order to stop them from gambling and doing things that, are prohibited, and God has prohibited men and women from doing. Okay, so we are having these discussions upon the earth that it's not the women that have created these laws. It's not the women who have allowed these types of behaviors to move forth. It is mainly the men who have, allowed these types of behaviors to go forth in society. The women are basically following their example because this is what they have given over into predatory behavior, where they attack the vulnerable among us. They attack the women. They attack the young women, the babies, the children. So, this is why they are trying to, set the age limit for our young babies, under 12 and under, 12, 13, that are, not developed yet mentally, who are not established. So these types of predatory behaviors can be carried out in society by the laws that the men have created. And this is why we are having a lot of issues in our lives. Okay, so let's look at some other things that, have been carried out in society that are prohibited and are wrong. Okay, and we're talking about usury. Usury, where, you are taking someone's hard-earned cash that you have, borrowed, or you are using a person for something that they have, and you have no intentions of paying them back. You have no intentions. You have borrowed things that you have no intentions of paying back. And in many cases, hold on, we have some okay, so I'm sorry about that. That was the ambulance. So we are having this understanding that a lot of the men who could not afford the bridal money, the mahar, and they are unable to pay this, or they will ask for an extension and never pay this in the relationship. This becomes abusive in the relationship when, you have intentions of usury. Okay, when you are defrauding in the relationship. Also, we have in the relationship that is specifically outlined in the Holy Quran, and how the relationship should be in the Holy Bible, that the man is the protector. But the laws that have been created by the men in society within the relationship are unfair. So, we have this understanding that if we have separated, and many times we cannot go back into our relationship because the men have set out an evil design in order to harm the woman, in order to abuse her in the relationship. There are special practices that you must go through when you are coming back together after you have separated. But many times we do not get past the first month or the first week, because you have the men who want to attack and want to harm and bring a lot of the women down into submission through abusive tactics, through violence. So we are understanding these types of tactics have been carried out throughout history. And again, I give you the Salem witch hunts, but they forgot about, the men who were making up these prohibited attacks upon women, and they were allowed to spread. And so we have this society now. So these are some of the prohibited haram things that we have to make sure that we are correcting in our community, so that the hatred between the sexes does not allow to grow, that it doesn't grow into what the misogyny has been given to us from the colonizers and the enslavers in their societies. It must not be allowed to grow. And this is why the women have been given over into you as advisors of what the holy books have said. We are not supposed to eat certain things into our soul. And it goes even further than that, against the swine. That we have to be careful and look at labels, so that we're not eating monodiglycerides, pork derivative, fats in our foods. It goes beyond that. So when we are talking about, lust and things of that nature, the relationships, certain things and certain laws that have been given by the colonizer, by the entity, are prohibited. It's very simple. And those people who want to be, like the entity, the enemy, of the relationship, the enemy to young girls and the vulnerable, the elderly among us, then, the entity can have those people, and they are being separated at this time. Okay, we are being purified, just like the holy metals of the ground. The chosen ones are being purified with the truth from the holy books. So when we think about this process of being purified, and separating ourselves from the truth from lies that the colonizers have given us, have given over into our people, then we have to understand that there will always be certain men and women who align with the patriarchy, that is prohibited in society. So, as we take a look at some other things that are prohibited and haram, and we're going to close this out in a minute. And, I hope that all of you have received this message, that, we want to make sure that we have this understanding of what the holy books say in Surah Al-Baqarah. And it says, "O you who have faith, eat up the good things we have provided you with, and be grateful to Allah if it is Him you worship." So we understand that. And we have Surah An-Nahl 16:144, where it says, "So eat of the lawful and good foods which Allah has provided for you, and be grateful for the graces of God, if it is He whom ye worship." And this is what we have, last but not least, we have Surah Al-Mu'minun, and I love Surah Al-Mu'minun, 23 and 51. It says, "Eat up the good things and act righteously." So it's talking about the laws that God has sent down, for us to follow. We cannot eat fraud and usury in our business dealings and then say, God is going to bless me, because you're eating black matter into your relationship, into your business. You're eating into your generational curses with your children when you attack the most vulnerable among you. And you're supposed to be the ones that are carrying out these types of laws in society in order to protect the elderly, the young children, the men and the women, So we have those laws that are given to us to protect the vulnerable, so that the men, the chosen one men, are supposed to act on our behalf and out of good character, so that we can have the best life that God has given us on earth, and attract the good things in this life as we are purified by what the holy books say. So I hope that you received this message. Please like, share, and subscribe to me over all of my platforms. You can book your one-on-one sessions with me, your life coaching sessions, or your video chat sessions, so that I can acclimate a gift to your situation. please leave a comment for me or donate to my channel. I'm High Oracle Reiki Spiritual Healer. Assalamu alaikum.